So hello everyone, my name is Evan Morris and this is Royce. Today we'll be talking about Week 3's readings. So why don't you get started off, Royce?
Righto, so Week 3's readings, first thing to know, they were written from the perspective of an executive director, and as such they talk about human service organisations in a very market-oriented sense. It focused on areas such as the different types of organisational behaviour from an executive perspective, such as working within an ever-changing environment from a funding point of view, opportunities to be proactive in seeking out new sources of funding and or creating new sources of funding by identifying new social issues or responses to old social issues, and much more. Okay,
cool. So within this article, it was actually broken up into 3 different theoretical approaches. The first theoretical approach that I'll be talking about is the ecological approach. The key idea in this approach is that organisations will actually interact with their environment to become the fittest organisation. So it's generally the survival of the fittest in this circumstance. So it's based on the idea that environments will actually shape how an organisation gains its resources. So whether that might be political, economical, technological, or even legal resources will actually help the organisation either survive or dissolve into another organisation. The second theoretical approach, which will be described by Royce, is institutional theoretical approach.
So, the institutional theoretical approach basically helps executives to understand the need to adopt social and institutional rules, myths, symbols and rituals in order to adapt to their environment, and also as a condition for gaining legitimacy and ensuring the steady flow of resources to the organisation. So yeah, the key idea here is that organisations incorporate rationalised practices and procedures that are responsive to their environment, and basically funding equals survival, so that's quite important. And the implications of this institutional organisation is that NGOs and non-profit organisations will tend to stick to the government-orientated goals, as deviation from this may cause a loss in legitimacy and or funding, which is obviously not good. And our next theory is organisational adaptation theory, and I'll hand you back to Evan for that one.
So organisational adaptation theory, fantastic one I might add. So adaptation theory provides executive directors with tools to actually map out the environment. While the first two were generally focusing on how the environment shapes them, this actually focuses on how it can, how the organisation can shape itself using the environment. So the key idea is that they'll be learning about the external influences that affect them. So for instance, an organisation can actually study up on potential allies that they could call on when they need resources, or even potential enemies that might threaten their resources. So in that sense, it can help them plan out their next step and make sure that they don't dissolve. So that pretty much sums up all 3 of our theoretical approaches in a very general sense. One of the things I've noticed, Royce, in this reading is that it's very neoliberalistic and very marketized. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting that the first kind of comment that had anything to do with actually helping someone was on the last, I think, second last page of the article, which was quite telling of this article. But
yeah, it definitely shows that organisations are more of a market nowadays than they were about helping people.
Yeah, no, those days are long gone.
Well, thank you very much for listening to our presentation. We hope you gained something from it.